this whole voyage with surrender and offering is like a deeper and deeper exploration of the serenity prayer, which basically says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And what I've always loved in that prayer is that it embraces paradox instead of the black and white thinking that says, well, I'm either just going to be angry about everything or I'm going to go into total passivity and do nothing. It holds the paradox right there. If there are things that are out of my control that I cannot change, give me the serenity to embrace this. And if there's something I can do in my own universe, right here, right now where I am, show me the actions and the ability to discriminate between what I can't change and what I can. So I kept hearing that prayer when I woke up this morning, and it led me to thinking about that meditation that we did last week, and I wanted to repeat it, where you go inside and you ask, what is my soul learning right now? What does my soul want me to know? And what I would love, if for any people that are on the Facebook page, the Facebook forum page, if you get an answer, you probably, if you ask with sincerity, believe me, you will get an answer, and trust the first thing that you get. If you want to share some of what your soul tells you it's learning from this, I would love to see them, because that question immediately ties to the serenity prayer. Like, if this is happening, there's something that doesn't deny all the suffering or the deaths, the economic wreckage. It doesn't deny any of that, and yet it says the soul wants to learn something. So help me see what this is, without any self-blame or, oh, you should be doing better, or none of that. Just from that level of the pure love of the divine on the inside, what is my soul learning right now? So let me take you just to another brief version of it and see what you get. You may get something very different than last week, because we're in a changing, unfolding situation. So focusing on your breath. Breathing in, calming, quieting energy. Breathing out, whatever wants to go. Breathing in, calming, quieting energy. And breathing out, whatever wants to go. Feel that space at your heart. There is a pink flame at your heart that is the center of divine love, however you imagine that. You are a center of divine love, even when you're in the worst mood or anxious or fearful or whatever's occurring. There is this unchanging center of divine love at the heart. And just ask it, what is my soul learning right now? Is it patience? Is it self-love? Is it self-acceptance? Is it courage? Could be anything. Why am I alive right now? What is my soul learning? And is there anything I can do to make it easier to learn this? Is there anything I can do to allow this lesson to come in more easily? And I'd like you to imagine that you can send that love to yourself in the midst of this. Whatever is occurring, you're just bowing to your own inner divine. Open me to whatever the highest is that my soul is learning. Open me. And then as you're ready, you can slowly come back out, bringing that with you. You know, somebody wrote me from the last week's call, and they told me that when they did that meditation, what we just did, when we did it last week, what she got was that all of her life, she's always been in an argument with reality. That whatever was happening, she always thought something else should be happening than what was happening. Even when good things happened, she was like, somebody gave me a gift, and I would think, oh, I wish they had given me this or that, or, that there's always been this part of her that's been in very deep resistance to what is. And ironically, this is how this stuff can work. The level of intensity of what's been happening is changing this woman. And she said that perhaps for the first time in her memory, she's just praying for the ability to accept what she cannot change and open to it. And just open to it because she can feel the absolute exhaustion of how she's lived up till now. So it's kind of ironic, right? I mean, she looks back on, how things were before, and she's like, well, before this happened, I was always in an argument with reality every minute anyway. I was mad about this and mad about that and resistant of this, and sort of always telling the universe, like, well, you should be doing it this way instead. And she said, there's an intensity that's come out of this Capricorn, Saturn, and Pluto and Jupiter all together. She said, I've just let go. And it's not depression or, she just said, I've simply let go. And maybe for me, this is what it took. Like, I really am not the general manager of the universe anymore. And I'm, like she said, there's this softening that's happening inside of her that maybe could not have come any other way. And so, just notice the things that came up. I think it's very, very powerful. I heard this other story. I'll just tell you briefly. Back when I gave all those thousands of readings back in the day, there was a woman whose son I used to give readings to. I guess right now he's about 9. I don't know. He must be like in his early 20s. Anyway, I read him probably when he was about 12, and the last time before I stopped giving readings. And at the time, it was basically, he had all this Pisces, and he was very, very sort of just saw himself as the victim of the world and, like very aimless a lot. And the thing with Pisces, just like every sign in the zodiac, this if you read the second half of Outrageous Openness, because I get into it a lot, there's no bad sign. Every sign has a high end and a low end. And so he was really operating from the low end. Like he just did not, he felt just absolutely aimless and was just like starting to already get involved with a lot of pot and all these things were going on. Anyway, she told me that what's come out of this time started about maybe 6 months in the second half of 2019. All of a sudden, the positive side of Pisces is taking this kid over. And she said he's completely involved with getting food to homeless people. He's involved in this whole organization, like he's obsessed with feeding all of these homeless people who need this. And this is like he's found his mission in life. And when she was telling me, I thought it's like he moved from the negative side of Pisces, which was this sense of, I just feel so sorry for myself and I don't even want to be on the planet and why do I have to be here? And then something caught fire under all of this and he couldn't take seeing all the suffering, and he is now like just coming into this, I don't know, like a bodhisattva nature. Like it's very, very beautiful. And to me, it's just an example of this is how astrology works. It's like there's this, every chart, there's not a bad chart that exists. There's always that chance to be able to go inside and say, let the high end of my chart emerge here. Let come forward whatever the great self is in this chart, let it come forward. And so I think when you go in and you just say, show me, it doesn't have to be any grandiose thing. It doesn't mean having to do a million, videos on YouTube or something. It could simply be that what's coming out of this for you is self-acceptance, or what's coming out of it is a kindness towards yourself or patience. You'll get that answer on the inside. And so I think it's just a really helpful contemplation right now.